I passed both A-plus core exams with high scores studying less than an hour a day. I did it working a full-time job, married with a 2-year-old baby in the house. I'm also trying to qualify for the Boston Marathon all at the same time. Now I'm working on my Network Plus. In this video, I'm going to show you how I structure my study time because I think most people overcomplicate this. I've tried searching on YouTube for other people in my boat, working a full-time job, married, with kids, training on top of all of that, just, someone who has little free time to study. You go on Reddit, go to the CompTIA forums, and you see some of these youngsters cranking out the entire CompTIA trio. They're doing the whole thing in a month, I've seen posts. It can be really disheartening if you're someone like myself, working a full-time job, doing the family grind, training, 7-8 hours a week on top of that too for whatever your sport may be. So I had to just let that not get to me and focus on what was realistic for me. And I've been able to pass these exams, at least the 2 A-plus cores, on less than an hour a day of study. Generally, on average, somewhere between 30 and 45 minutes of study time is what I do. And I don't always even get all 7 days out of the week sometimes, but I was able to pass both of the A-plus exams with high scores. I think I got an 850 out of 900 on Core 2, and I'm looking to do the same thing with Network Plus here at the end of February. I'm testing. The exact materials that I use to study are a combination of some free and some paid materials, and then of course utilizing AI tools as well. For the free materials, I really enjoy Professor Messer. He's got video series on all of the CompTIA courses, at least the popular ones that I'm aware of. A+ and Network and Security Plus all exist for sure. I like to listen to the free material while I'm driving and while I'm running. I think that's a perfect time to put it on as background noise. I don't absorb all that information perfectly when I'm out there hitting a run, so I do take in some of it though, so I think it's good to have on while I'm doing other things like driving and running. I like to use the paid materials when I can sit down, dial in, and really focus on what I'm learning and try to make it stick. The paid materials I like to use come from Udemy. Now, they're kind of expensive, but don't fret, you just wait a few days and they go on sale. I use Jason Dion. I'm sure there's other people out there that put out good stuff. It's what I found through recommendations on Reddit and just surfing the internet. And I don't mind Dion at all. I think he's got a good teaching style. So just wait for a Udemy sale and pick up whatever CompTIA you're focused on at the moment. They generally go on sale for less than $20 for the full lecture materials, and this will include at least one practice exam. I take it a step further and I buy the practice exams when they're discounted as well. So most of them just have a pack of 6. The Network Plus Jason Dion's do have 2 packs of 6, so there's a total of 13 exams for you to practice with for Network Plus. I'm almost done with all of them. I do like to get a 90% on the Dion exams. That's at least what I've done previously with the A+ materials. Is I schedule the test right around, I kind of give myself a deadline no matter what for when I'm going to take the test to put a little fire under my butt. And generally that week or two leading up to that point is where I'm ideally scoring close to a 90% at that time. I haven't quite got there with the Network Plus yet. I'm getting closer, having to drill down a few topics that I was a little weak on still. But those are the 2 things that I'm using as far as, video lecture series. Free stuff from Professor Messer on YouTube, and then I like the Jason Dion Udemy courses. They're paid, just wait for a hefty sale. They happen extremely often. And then a combination of the Jason Dion exams. I don't start using the exams until I'm at least close to the 75% way through the lecture series. Now, when I listen to the lecture series, I do crank up the speed. I started on 1.5x, and towards the end, again, being limited with my study time, I did ramp up to 2x. Dion is kind of a slow talker. I don't find it extremely difficult to listen to him at 2x. You do need to pay attention. I like to use the standing desk area to do the majority of my studying. I think that keeps me engaged a little bit more versus sitting down, especially if I study in the morning. I find myself getting sleepy sitting in the chair. So standing works much better for me personally. One other thing I'd like to bring up about Messer is he does a live course every now and then on YouTube. If you check out his channel, I'm sure he has it listed when to actually catch one. I just caught a Network Plus study group for the first time. I never did any of the A+ ones, but I was able to join one live for Network Plus towards the end, and there was some good material. I kind of enjoyed it. I would like to participate in another one if they happen before the test, but I will use it in the future too if it happens for anything that I'm studying for. I don't know if I'll be studying for Security Plus immediately. I think I'm going to go for the Red Hat Certified Systems Administration. The RHCSA is going to be the next one for me. So, but Messer's good stuff, and the live course, the live study groups are really good. My number one goal when I'm studying is to get through the lecture series as quick as possible while paying attention and absorbing as much information as I can. It's not always easy to do that, but that's the goal, is to just get through the material as quickly as I can. You're looking at 30 to 40 hours of video lecture series, and obviously if we're doing less than an hour per day, it takes some time to get through that stuff. The 2x definitely helps. Again, I started at 1.5, sped things up towards the end, and started to crush through it a bit quicker. So now, there were definitely some gaps in my learning with this method. So that's when you start to incorporate your exams, and you do need to really pay attention to the different domains and where you're not doing so hot. And this is when I start to incorporate GPT. I always take a picture of the final exam screen at the end of a test. I like to put that into my GPT, and I show it how I scored, and I like it to see the domains, and it'll say, okay, look, your network implementation is lacking. You need to step that up. Your troubleshooting and security is good. Based on whatever my weak domains are, I'll have GPT tailor some learning sessions where I'll just sit there and talk back and forth with it. I find that when it asks me questions without multiple choice, it's a really good way to see how well you understand something. If you can't explain it in a sentence or two, it generally means you don't really understand it. At least that's been the case for me. If I can't talk back to GPT and explain something within a few sentences, there's probably a lack of understanding. And walking through it with GPT really helps me solidify my understanding on the material. So I might start a study session in the evening. I wait for my child to go to bed. I do complete any exercise if there's any on the schedule for that night. I'll have it drill me on an area that I'm not very familiar with to bring up my understanding so that on that next exam I can get a higher score. I also like to take the exams and sort by incorrect answers on my weakest domains and make flashcards. And then I have my wife study me on the flashcards. I don't know if she enjoys it, but I like to get her involved. I think it's fun to have her quiz me. So that's another easy way to brush up on the sections you're not doing so great on. Review the domains you're not doing hot on, create some flashcards, get a partner involved, have them drill you for some fun. The next big thing that I didn't really take advantage of during my A+ studying is the objectives from CompTIA. This is a gold mine. This is what they're actually going to test you on. I didn't realize this, and I should have taken it a little bit more seriously with those past exams. I mean, I did great on the scores at the end of the day, so it's fine. But with Network Plus, I've actually printed them out. This was a tip from Messer. Go through all the objectives and really rate yourself on how well you know each one, and you can figure out where you need the practice the most. You can download the objectives as a PDF file and upload them to your favorite AI tool and have it study and quiz you on material directly from the objectives. This has worked well for me with A+, Core 1 and Core 2. I'm confident that I'm going to get a great score on Network Plus at the end of February. I look forward to keeping you posted. My next exam after, I'm switching gears. I was going to go for the Security Plus trifecta, but I don't think I'm leaning towards cybersecurity roles so much at the moment. I'm really enjoying Linux and learning Linux, so I want to go for a Linux certificate, and I just don't think the Linux Plus is the right one for me. I want something more hands-on. I think the RHCSA is a little bit more, I think it pulls a little bit more value in the industry than the Linux Plus certification does. So I'm going to go get that first. I'm actually going to be installing Red Hat Enterprise Linux on one of my computers. I've got quite a few spare machines laying around the house and they work great for installing Linux. So I'm going to get some bare metal hands-on experience with the operating system and prepare for that exam next. Good luck out there, all you folks who are getting your certifications and maybe trying to switch careers like me. Have a good one.